Good morning, Year 2. Here we are again for another maths lesson. Today we are looking at fact families. Now I've got a brain warm up, but it's slightly different to what we're used to. I thought we'd have a little bit of a recap on money. So I found my purse the other day and I've got 47p in my purse, but I've only got 10p's, 5p's and 2p's. Can you write down and work out how I could make 47p in my purse using just those coins? So pause the video and then come back and we'll see if you're correct. Okay, so the way I worked it out, how I would have 47p in my purse, is I looked at my tens column first. And I know that I've got 4 tens, I've got 40. So I can use 4 10p's. So I would have 10p, 10p, 10p and 10p. And that's my 40p sorted. Don't have to look at my tens column anymore. So now let's look at the ones column. I need to make 7. I've got a 5 and I've got a 2. And I know that 5 and 2 make 7. So actually it was really quite simple. I then just had a 5p and a 2p. Your challenge for today, is there another way I could make 47p, or is it just that way? Okay. What is being represented here? What can you see? That's right, it's a hand. So there's 5 fingers, so it is representing 5. What about then here? What is being represented here? So I've still got my hand, which I know is worth 5, but I've got it 3 times. So here I've got 15, because I've got 5 on this hand, 5 on this hand, and 5 on this hand. And I know that 3 times 5 is 15. What about my crabs? I went rock pooling and I found some crabs. What is being represented here? Now, I want to count in 5s because 5s is a nice easy way to count, but it's very tricky here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rearrange them. So I'm going to put them in rows of 5 to help me. So there's one row. And then, just like that, that is much easier to understand. So I know I've got 5 and 5, which is 10, and 4, which is 14. Now it would be even easier if it was in a tens frame. So I'm just going to make my tens frame fit my crabs, hopefully. Near enough. We'll just move the crabs a little bit. There we go. Oh, that will do. So I know that in my tens frame I've got 10, and 10 and 4 is 14. So I've got 14 crabs. It's much easier to see like that. What about here then? I've got some tens frames. And the clue's in the name. There's 10 in each frame. So I've got 10 here and 10 here. So that's 20. So I've got 20 being represented. But what about if I change the colour of some of my counters? What if I do that? I've still got 10 in this frame. But I know now I've got 9 red counters, because 10 take away the 1 yellow is 9. So I've now got 19 being represented. Can you all see that? I'm going to make one more change. I know my number bonds to 10, and I know that 6 and 4 make 10. So there's my 6 and there's my 4. I've still got 10 here, and 10 add 6 is 16. Can you see that? Because I know that there's 10 in that frame, and then there's 6 on this frame because I can see the number bond of 6 and 4. Now this is tricky. Here's my example. So I've got 14, okay, and that is 10 red, add 4 yellow. So 14 equals 10 add 4, and 10 add 4 equals 14. What about here? It is still 14 being represented, but how many red counters have I got? I'm going to make my text a lot smaller to fit in the boxes. I've got 10, take away 1 in my tens frame is 9. So I know that in that box must go a 9. So I'm going to put it there. And 9, add 5, because if I was to move that one up there, it would be half of my tens frame, is 5. So that must mean that 9 add 5 is 14. Your challenge is to have a go at these two. I will then pop the answers in and you can see if you're correct. So we've got 9 red and 6 yellow, which means it's 9 add 6. And then this one, 5 and 1, because I know that along the top there's 5, so 5 add 1 is 6. And then I've got 4 in this one and 5 in this one, which is 9. And then I've got 6 and 9. Has anybody noticed anything about these tens frames here? They're the same numbers because addition is commutative. It's our big posh word. Okay, I want you to use these number cards to write an addition sum that show what my tens frames are representing, okay? You can write them on pieces of paper, you can use post-it notes, anything you want. Just write them on a piece of paper if you haven't got anything else, and just see if you can come up with a sum for my tens frame, and then I will show you the answer. Okay, so I'm going to look at my red counters first. So I've got 10 and 5 is my 15. So I think it is 15 add 4 equals 19. Now, could I do 19 add 15 equals 4? I know I couldn't, because I know in an addition, the biggest number always comes at the end. The biggest number is always at the end. Okay, now we've got some more missing numbers for fact families. So I know that 17 equals 7 add 10. So that must mean that that is a 10. I want you to have a go at these, okay? And then come back and see if you have got them correct. So pause the video. So I also know that that's going to be the opposite way around. That's going to be 10 add 7. I know that 17 take away 7 is going to be 10 because all of these facts are related. They are the same numbers, the same three numbers, sorry. 17 take away 7 equals 10. What's Miss French done wrong there? I've done the same sum. I know that it should be that way round. Did anybody else make the same mistake? I know that that has got to be 17 because that is just my addition sum, but written backwards, which is okay. So I know in that case the biggest number goes there. And then that's going to be 10. Take away 7. I hope you all got those right. Well done if you did. Big round of applause. Okay, bronze questions today. You've got some 10 frames and you've got to say which statement does not match the counters in your 10 frames. You've then got to see if these are true or false. You've got to complete the missing numbers. I spilt some paint and some bubble gum by the looks of it on my work here. And then I want you to write 4 sentences to describe the fact family shown in the part-whole model. Okay, so that'll be 2 addition and 2 subtraction. Silver, you are doing questions 1 to 3 on the silver and gold sheet. And gold, you are doing questions, it's not 3 and 4, Miss French just hasn't changed that. It's 3 to 6 on the silver and gold sheet. And platinum, again, they are a little bit tricky. You have got your own sheet. You've got to use the cards to make some number sentences and write all of the ones possible. You've got some number line questions and you've got some worded problems where you need to use addition sentence and subtraction sentences, to answer those questions. As always, you can email me or Miss Smith, and I will be back again tomorrow with your Tuesday maths lesson.